Hello Galaxy Commanders and welcome to this video for Infinite Galaxy. Today I want to talk a little bit more again about fleet composition. I know I already made a few videos, but there are always new questions coming up and I thought when I do all this testing, why not sharing it with you? Don't worry, I don't going through all the hours of data collection with you, but I will give you a quick overview what I do and then we can have a look together at some of the data and draw our conclusion from that. So first on,
Collection.
I'm going to use today a Hercules for this because a Hercules has no skills that are warship related. Second, I am using laser weapons, so I will use tier 8 cruisers. And for the fight with frigates, I am going to use kinetic weapons. And as my kinetics are not completely as high as my laser weapons there, I will also add the 6.7% with a captain. I do know we do get a little bit of additional boost for our flagship, but this is so small, it should not really matter. Okay, so I will just dive into it. I did remove also all my crew members,
Approved.
so we don't get any additional bonus from there. We don't need to worry about this. I will attack pirates because I can attack them as often as I want. As long as I don't kill them, we are fine. And we are going to go with level 28 pirates. Our first try will be cruisers only. After this, I'm going to change a little bit. You will see this in the video, but don't worry too much. I will give you a complete summary after this
Launching.
so that I can go and yeah, go quickly over the fights. So I'll just speed them up for you. Okay, so we did here now like 6 fights, and this is always what I do. I start with some extreme things. We did had the first fight full cruiser. We did nearly 2 million damage or power loss to the pirates. After this, we had 50% cruisers, 50% frigates. I always talk when I talk about these percentages of leadership, not of number of warships. So there we got up to 2.7 million, which is much better than only cruisers. When we did the same thing, but we switched from laser to kinetic weapons, the damage dropped to only 2.3 million. That shows when we had this set up, the main damage is coming from the cruisers. So I switched back to laser weapons after that and did 33% of each. So 33% frigates, destroyers, and cruisers. And we used laser weapons. We got the highest damage so far with 2.86 million. After this, we tried 33% frigs and 66% cruisers. We got a little bit more down to only 2.53 million and 0% frigates, 33% destroyers, 66% cruisers gave us 2.22 million. So the evenly distributed warships were so far the best and directly followed by 50% cruiser, 50% frigs. So we know that the main damage is coming from our cruisers. Therefore, what I'm going to try in the next few runs is now checking what is a perfect ratio. Um, we will try like 66% cruisers and then 16% frigs, 16% destroyers, and a few other ratios, and then we will see what is best. And this is usually how I try to approach these things. And I take all these numbers then and give you the best result at the end. So as we are going to do this now, I will fast forward it again, that it won't get too boring for you guys. And yeah, we will see the results then at the end again. Okay, so we did quite a few fights now, and there was something I learned during tactical training base, and that was the best setup I could find is putting as many frigates inside my fleet as it takes for me to take out the enemy frigates. And it looks pretty similar here again. Um, I can increase the quantity of frigates up to 50%, which is around what I need to defeat these pirates, the pirate frigate, the enemies. And then having a few additional destroyers increased the damage. I also did another run with 30, 33, 33, 33, and I got again 2.85 million, first time 2.86 million. So all of that is looking pretty good. It is repeatable. Um, and then the last fight, I increased the number of frigates to 50%. I reduced the destroyers to around 10% and around 40% destroyers, which gave me so far the highest damage I could do. Now, sure, we can argue quite a lot about different kinds of enemies. Um, what happens if the enemy got more frigates, if the enemy has no frigates at all, and so on and so on. And I totally agree with you. The results will be different. Cruisers will perform best versus frigates. Um, Worst versus frigates, sorry. Um, and that is a point where I think the frigates are helping so much. If you have something that tanks the enemy frigates while your cruisers doing the damage, this allows your cruisers or you to maximize the damage output from your cruisers. I can't tell you why I don't get destroyers performing better than cruisers. I mean, sure, if I would use a Hades, no question asked, the destroyers will be the best warships I can use there. But when I play around here and I increase the number of cruisers, I do lose a little bit, slightly I lose a little bit of my damage potential. It's not like um, huge or really a lot, but when I try to figure out the best setup for my fleet, um, I can see that this is a little bit suboptimal. So what I would recommend you is get as many frigates that you need to survive till the enemy frigates are down. So we can see now for these lower level pirates, I have way too much frigates with me. Um, I probably could kill them faster if I would have only half the amount of frigates and then increase the amount of cruisers and maybe even a little bit of destroyers. Having a few destroyers is helpful, as the destroyers do have the damage bonus versus frigates. Um, but as soon as all the enemy frigates are destroyed, you do lose that advantage. And I think that's the main reason why I see the advantage of the cruisers. Um, in the first phase, your frigates tank against the enemy frigates, and if you have as many frigates that you need to destroy the enemy frigates, What now is left are enemy destroyers and enemy cruisers. Your destroyers do have they are neutral versus the enemy destroyers, but they do have a deficit minus 15% versus cruisers. So I think that's the main reason where this is coming from. And if you're not sure, go with something like 40% frigates, 60% destroyers. Mix in a small amount of, sorry, 40% frigates, 60% cruisers. Mix in a small amount of destroyers if you do like them. Um, if you are there to really maximize it, check how many frigates do you need to kill the enemy frigates and fill the rest up with a small amount of destroyers to be able to destroy the enemy frigates faster. And then the main force, the main damage dealing force behind that, as usual, cruisers. And the more you keep in one area, and that's the other thing, if you use cruisers for your main damage, you can use weapons to maximize their damage output. If you mix everything, you don't get this really nice additional damage. That was also the reason why at the beginning I did switch the weapons from laser to kinetic, and we still had 50% cruisers, 50% frigates to get this out. So if you're not sure, 40% frigates, um, maybe 10% destroyers, and 50% cruisers. If you have the time and want to play around optimizing it a little bit, maybe you want to get the last level of some tactical training base, or you're very close to be able to kill the next level of pirates, then you have now a good idea how to optimize your fleet setup and get the maximum out of them. So I hope you understand how I try to find the best way. You got a good idea now, and if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. Also, there in the corner, you can subscribe to the channel if you didn't do it yet, and then I'll see you all on the next video again.